G'day folks. Well, this is the edge turning octahedron. It's the first of the videos I'm going to do related to that big stash that I got from Eitan chair. And this is his edge turning octahedron, and I'm really hoping to do two videos on this one. The first one, this one, will be a non-jumbling tutorial. Well, not a tutorial, a walkthrough solve. The second one, I'm hoping to do a jumbling. The reason for that, one of the reasons, is that the non-jumbling is it's complicated enough as it is, but also it displays some really bizarre behavior. And I want to demonstrate that behavior pretty much now and then take you through the solve that I'll do to deal with that. Now here's the behavior. Because of this puzzle, it's an edge turner, and you can see there's no edge sitting in there. It's hidden. So there's no way that I can tell whether that should be a blue-red edge or a yellow-silver edge or whatever. And even more, if it was a blue-red edge, should it be blue-red or red-blue? You can kind of imagine, well, that's a slight bit of a problem. And so what I'm doing is solving the corners first, and I've done that ahead of time. Now I want to assure you there's been no jumbling of this puzzle whatsoever. The only turns that I've done have been 180-degree turns like that. No shape shifting, no jumbling, absolutely none of something like this sort of thing, which on this puzzle would be the standard jumbling move. Not a single bit of that. And why am I stressing that so much? Well, because I don't have any orientation with the edges or anything like that, and the centers move around, as you can see, the big triangles there, what I need to do is solve the corners first and then build the puzzle around that. And here's where it gets interesting. So I've solved these corners, and now you'll know, because it's an edge turner, it's obviously it jumbles, but it's got these pieces here, these wide triangles, which are in their orbits. Now remember, there's no jumbling. So I've solved as many of these as I can. If you look at, for example, this silver piece here, this wide triangle, where can that go? Well, if I turn it on an edge doing a 180-degree turn, there it goes around to here. And where's it going to go next? It's going to go to that green position there. So I'll just turn that back to keep the corners as they are, but let's follow along what happens. That will just travel along to the blue, to the white, to the gold, to the green, to the yellow, back to the silver. And what you'll notice is it's essentially doing a nice horizontal line through here, and it is never hitting this top face or this bottom face. That's what makes this interesting. This puzzle has 8 faces. Now I know it's an edge turner, I understand that, but it has 8 faces, in other words 8 colours, and yet this orbit that this silver piece lies in only contains 6 pieces: silver, blue, white, gold, green, yellow. There are only 6 pieces, and therefore only 6 colours in that orbit, but the puzzle has 8 colours. What that tells us is that if I have now just used non-jumbling turns, you can see the silver is correct, this blue is correct, because remember I'm basing it around the corners. There's no red here. The gold is correct, the green is correct, there's no orange here. So ordinarily I'd be saying, oh well, the orange must be back over here in this face, and this must contain the, well, if this is a yellow piece, this must be a yellow. But you can see the white and the yellow don't even belong in this orbit. In fact, the white and the yellow are top and bottom. They are the colours of the faces that this will never reach. And when I first encountered this, I started questioning my sanity, because I thought maybe I did jumble it and I just didn't even know that I jumbled it. Because really, if you're not careful, you'll think, well, the only way I can get out of this situation is to jumble these pieces back. And you can. You can certainly do that. However, I kind of thought, well, hang on a minute, I didn't jumble the puzzle to start with. I don't really want to jumble it to solve it, even though it's really quite fascinating how this has happened. So what's going on? Well, as it happens, I just said there are 6 colours in a particular orbit, and I've just been looking at this orbit here, but I could look at any other orbit. So this one around here, I've got silver, green, red, gold, blue, orange. You'll notice that that is missing 2 colours. Is that the same one that I just looked at? It might even be the same one. Let's try a different one. This one here, orange, red, yellow, green, blue, white. If you think about what two colours that is missing, it doesn't have gold and it doesn't have silver. And what that tells us is that that particular orbit of pieces must run here so that gold and silver are top and bottom. If it doesn't have gold and silver, they must be not in that orbit. And that's where the troubles come from. And so what I'm going to do now is take you back to the start, as in scramble this, and show how I'll deal with this without jumbling, even though we've got this position of a seemingly jumbled cube from a non-jumbling scramble. So what I'm going to do now, I'll just start scrambling it up again, and you can see all I'm doing are these 180-degree turns. All right, I reckon that's a fairly decent enough scramble. So we're ready now to start solving. My general technique is going to be to solve the corners first, then to solve the wide triangles, next the centers, and finally the edge wings. And the wide triangles and the edge wings will be longish phases. I won't show all of the edge wings in this walkthrough solve. The corners and the centers will be fairly short, which is nice. So as I explained earlier, I've got the corners. I'm going to just knock that out. I don't like the fact that that's obviously two next to each other already. I'm going to pick a corner and build the puzzle around that corner. So let's say that I pick this white, blue, orange, grey. I'll forget that I know that that belongs somewhere nearby, and I'll look at the other one. So I want this white, orange. I want to turn that around until it's in the position. Now, it might be solved, it might not. If it's not solved, it needs orienting, I'm going to turn it down to the bottom. Well, I say down to the bottom, I mean, I can either turn it down here, I probably should turn it down here, across the bottom, and back up to the top. Now, either that'll kind of solve straight away and orient itself, or it'll go the other direction. So at most, you'll do 3 of them, down to the bottom, across the base, back up to the top. So that's that one. And I'll do the same thing with the third corner here. So you can see that's where it's positioned, but it's not oriented. So I'll go down to the bottom, across the base, up the top. Now you might be able to see that that white went from there to there. So next one's going to go to there, the last one will orient. And that's why I say 3 times max, assuming I'm now going the same direction. Yeah, I am. So that's the first 3 corners. The white ones there is solved. What I can do now is think of that as my base and say, right, well, I've got to solve the 3 on the top. And for the colours, I just see what is the common colour of all the corners. And you can see there that it's yellow. So that's the first thing. I want to check that they're in position. So you can see the green gold corner is definitely in position and correctly oriented. I just need to check, this needs to be an orange grey. You'll notice this does not have orange grey on it. And that tells me that that corner needs to be turned into position like that. This one will be, I've got a blue grey, you can see there's blue grey there. So I've got 2 corners here that are in position but need to be twisted. And to twist 2 corners, both of these need to be twisted twice. So that can be twisted once anti-clockwise, it'll land there, of the yellow. This one could be twisted once clockwise and it'll land there. So then I'll have to do it again. So, okay, I'll be doing this twice, but essentially there are a few ways to twist corners here. I've just chosen a fairly straightforward way. It's probably not the shortest, but does the job. And it's essentially 2 edge piece series. So I do left, right, undo left, undo right, and repeat that. Left, right, undo left, undo right. Now that of course is just left, right 4 times on here. Now I want to do a front turn, then I'll undo. So I'll do right, left, right, left. That's 4 of them, 5, 6, 7. Now technically I should do the 8th, but what happens is on this particular sequence, that's where I want it to stop. I don't want to do that last one. You'll see here that all the corners are back. That has been twisted anti-clockwise. That has been twisted clockwise. So now I'm going to repeat that whole thing to get the corners correctly oriented. So just left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Twist the front face and then undo. Left, right, and I'll ignore that last left turn because you can see they are absolutely solved. So that's all the corners solved there. Next stage is to do the wide triangles. And we know from the earlier discussion that because it's a non-jumbling solve, I'm going to have the correct pieces in a particular orbit. So if I look at this orbit, I've got blue, red, green, silver, gold, orange. You'll notice that white and yellow are missing, but what I don't have is, for example, 2 orange pieces. That would be possible if I was jumbling, but because I haven't jumbled, that's not going to happen here. So the pieces that were missing from that, if I look through them again and think, what are the 2 colours that were missing? It was the white and yellow. And that tells me that white and yellow need to be on the top. But at the moment, I've got green and blue. So I need to place either the white or the yellow here, it doesn't matter which one. So I can see that there's a yellow on the side. I need to essentially get that yellow to here. What I'm going to do is swap the yellow corners with the green corners. Now you can see that I could happily just turn that like so, and that will get 2 yellow corners up there. The issue is this third one. So what I worked out is that I could do the following. I could move this to here, to here, to here. And the reason for doing that and not going up this way is that it correctly orients this corner. So I spin that around and put that corner correctly into position. Then I undo the other turns that I had to put these 2 yellows back and finally turn that up. So if you look at what's happened, essentially I've swapped the yellow and the green corners there. What about the bottom? Well, that should be white. There's 1 white. If you look over here, there's another 2. So I'll just give that 1 twist and I've now achieved what I need. So I've got white and yellow top and bottom, and the orbit of pieces between there contains no white and yellow. That's perfect, that's what I want. Let's have a look at another orbit. This one here, gold, red, silver, orange, yellow, white. That's missing blue and green. So that means top and bottom need to be blue and green. So I now want to swap the blue up to here. I'll do that in exactly the same way. That's been swapped. Give that 1 twist and the greens are down the bottom. And now blue and green top and bottom, the pieces in that orbit contain no blue and green. It's exactly what I want. So I forget the first one that I did. I think it was white and yellow. So I've dealt with white and yellow, blue and green. Let's have a look at the gold and silver faces. If that's correct, this orbit should have no gold and silver. And I find that that is exactly what I see, which means the last orbit also should be correct with an orange and a red top and bottom. I follow those pieces around and there's no orange and red in there. So what I know now is not only are the pieces all, 1 piece per orbit, but they are now correctly oriented relative to each other. So I am going to be able to solve these wide triangles. And if I don't do that first, I won't. Well, I can do it with some jumbling, but I don't wish to do jumbling on a non-jumbling solve. So that's a really important little mini phase there. Now that I've done that, I'm able to cycle the wide triangles into position. So I'll just pick an orbit. Let's have a look at this one, and I can see, for example, I've got this white piece that needs to go to this face. Now remember, it's not the center color, it's the corner colors. So as I look at the puzzle, if I hold the cube like this, you can see these 3 pieces, the white, the yellow, and the silver, are the 3 key pieces that I'm interested in. Holding it with the corner sticking out at me, and I've essentially got a front edge, a back edge, a left edge, a right edge. Now, what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to be holding it for most things that I do on this puzzle, or most algorithms, I want to decide, firstly, do I want the pieces to go this way, the white to come to here, or do I want them to go up the hill so the white bounces back there? And clearly here I want them to go up the hill. So because I want to move these 3 pieces upwards, I'm going to begin with a front turn. I'm then going to do left, right, left. Then I'll undo what I just did. So undoing a front turn is a front turn. Undoing a left, right, left is a left, right, left. You'll see that white has now landed exactly where it should be. So that just cycled those three pieces without affecting the corners. Now, if I wanted to go down the hill, so for example, I wanted to move the yellow to here, I would do the left, right, left first. That's the only change. So now that I've got the white, I'll just have a look and try and build a couple of faces around it. So I'll say, can I get the gold to this position? Well, the gold's over here, so you'll notice that that gold's got to land there. But the other thing to keep in mind is that when I'm doing this, I need my upper piece to be below a triangle. So you can see here the upper piece is above that triangle, the center triangle. So all I'll do is turn the puzzle around so that now my upper piece, remember if I'm holding it like that, that's my upper piece, that's my lower piece, the upper piece is below a triangle. Lovely. Now I can check what direction do I need to go. I'm trying to get the gold to here. So once again, I need to go up the hill so the gold comes down to this position. So it's a front turn first, and it's left, right, left, and then the front turn, and left, right, left. So that's the gold done, the white done. Can I get the blue done? Not easily. Can I get the green done? Yes, I can. So the green's got to go next door. Again, I want to hold it so that the wide triangles are underneath the centerpiece. And now I look and say, well, the green's got to go upwards. So once again, this is up a hill. All right, so green, gold, white. Now I look at my last three pieces in the orbit, and we're going to find one of two things. I lie, one of three things. One, they could be solved. Very unlikely. Two, they'll be in a 3 cycle. And the third thing is what we see here is that they're in a swap. We've got the silver and the blue need to swap positions there. Now, for now, I do nothing. I just leave these. I can't do anything more with that at the moment. And I'll move on to a different orbit. Let's have a look at this orbit here. This yellow is already in. The orange is not in because it's red. I was going to say it is. So the yellow is in. What about this one? It needs to be silver. Can I get a silver piece there? Well, I can because the silver piece is sitting here. So if I just do a setup to put it there, I can now cycle these 3 pieces so the silver comes into that position. Okay, so I'll now undo that setup, put the corners back. I've got yellow, silver, this needs to be orange. Well, again, you can see an orange is over here and I could happily just set that up. Now, I've got the orange on the top, so I just want to turn the puzzle around so that the orange now goes this way. So this time I'm going down the hill. I want white to go here, red to go here, orange to go up to there. So because I'm going down the hill, I do the left, right, left first. Then the front turn, then left, right, left, and then the front turn. So that has placed the orange there. I think we had a setup. So what have I got? Orange, silver, yellow. Let's keep going. The red is in position, the gold is in position, the white is in position. So that orbit is completely done. Let's move on to the third orbit that we have not yet done. This one here, just check if any pieces are already solved. Yes, that blue one is solved. So I'm going to try and get the white one or the red one, whatever's simpler. Neither. So again, I'll just set up this white piece here so that I can move the white piece over to this position to get the white done. Okay, that's done. We'll undo the setup. Blue's done, white's done. How about orange? It's not overly simple. How about red? Red's right next to it, which is great. So once again, I'm going to move the pieces up the hill here. It's amazing how many times they're going up. It's unusual. Okay, that's 3 at least. I've also got the yellow done, and what else do I have here? The green. Okay, notice the green belongs here, the orange belongs here. So that's another swap of 2 pieces. You remember that the first orbit we did, we had a swap of 2. So they're always going to come in 2s. There's one more orbit that I haven't looked at yet, so I need to do that. Now, was this the one that was done? Looks like it is. So which is the one that was not done? Orange, green. Now the gold, oh, might be this one. Blue, gold, here we go. Okay. So just running around here, checking if any are already in position, but none are. So I will initially, I'll say, let's get the red one. Get this red triangle over to here to start things off. It's one piece done. What about the gold? Not simple. What about the blue? Simple. Okay, so the blue just goes next door. So I'll orient the cube correctly. This time I'm going down the hill. So I'll do the left, right, left first. Okay, the blue's done. Oh, the red, that was the first one. I could do the gold now. So once again, I'm going to go down the hill and knock the gold over to there. Okay, where are we at? That's 3 done. I've got the green, or the orange piece to go here, the silver to go here, and the green to go there. So I've got one final 3 cycle on this particular orbit, and I need to be going up the hill to get this done. All right, so that orbit is now done. And if we look, there were 2 orbits which had 2 pieces that needed to swap. Here's one of them, the blue and the silver, really simple to see. The other one is this green and orange. Now, what I need to do is something that will swap 2 pieces in 2 orbits. And the thing that I need to figure out is there will be some common place that the 2 orbits meet. So I don't need to swap the 2 pieces necessarily. I just need to find where the 2 orbits meet. So this blue, silver, if I follow that around, that's white, gold, gold, green. You can see here that I could, if I wanted to, move those 2 pieces around to this position, to the gold and the green. And that position is next to or opposite the other 2 pieces in the other orbit that need to swap. And that's essentially what I need to know. Okay, so it's here and here. There's 2 pieces on this particular edge that need to swap. There's 2 pieces on this particular edge that need to swap. And this is one of those things I found just by fiddling around and thought, oh, that's really nice. I wonder if I'll ever need that. And sure enough, it turns out I did. It's so simple. So what it is once I've identified the 2 edges that contain the 2 pairs of pieces that need to swap, I simply do one edge, other edge, 3 times. So basically left, right, left, right, left, right. The first thing you'll notice is that all the corners have come back where they are. The next thing is that the orange and green, which were swapped here, have now placed. So that has dealt with those 2. The final thing is it's obviously swapped these 2, and that's okay, because if we follow it around, you remember that we had a single swap in this orbit. Well, now we've got 2 swaps. So now we can happily go and complete this 3 cycling. So I would initially just set that up so that I can get the green done here. So I'm going to go down the hill. the green's now done. Better undo the setup initially. Now I've got the silver, the gold and the blue. So this time I can set that silver up around to here. And I just need to look at the piece movement. The blue's going to here. The gold will come down to here. The silver will come up to there. So the final 3 cycle, once again, down a hill. And I will just undo the setup move that I had that I can't even remember, but I'll just be guided by the colours of the corners. Okay, fantastic. So when you look around now, every face will have all correct corners and all correct wide triangles. So that's how I'm taking care of that stage. You can see that's why I said it's a little bit of a long stage. It's not quite as long as the edge wings at the end. And it's really the guts of the whole solve, because once you get those wide triangles on, well, that's the thing that can be problematic on this, and certainly the thing that's really interesting. So the next stage is to do the centers. They're going to be really quick, and I'm going to use what essentially is a corner piece series to do that. So I'm going to have 3 centers in that formation, and I'm cycling that to here, and this one up across there. So I'm just first going to find, if I can, a center that needs to go across or down or something like that. The silver one needs to go across here. So I'm going to have, at the moment, yellow going to silver going to green. So the silver will place. My question is, could I either get a blue center here, or could I get a green face up here so the green one goes to it? And you can see either way, the blue center is sitting in the green face. So this is probably worth getting this over here, because I think it'll do 3 of these centers. So just as a setup, I'm going to move that blue center around to there. So now I'm going to cycle blue, silver, green. Now I said it was a corner piece series. So what I mean by that is, on a cube, I would do an upturn, then a right turn, then an upturn, then a left turn, and then undo those moves. Well, I'm going to count this as my up edge. This is right, this is left. So let's carry it out and see how it looks. So I'll do an up, a right, an up, and a left, and up, a right, and up, and a left. And first thing you'll see is that the blue and the silver have correctly placed. This doesn't look good yet because we had some setup. So let's undo that first setup. Those corners have come back. Let's undo the second setup. And we'll see not only have all the corners come back and the wide triangles, but this green has placed as well. So you can see it's fairly straightforward. That red's done. So I reckon now I'm down to the last 3 cycle. Orange to here, white to here, yellow to here. So I would say, well, that's the white's obviously going across there. Let's see if I can get the orange to that position. This is a nice easy one, and away I go. All done. Undo setup, and you can see now we have 3 of the piece types completed. The corners are done, the wide triangles are done, and the centers are now done. And so that only leaves 1 piece type to go, the edge wings. And as I said near the start, this is the longest stage. It's not particularly difficult. It is a little bit tedious, but it is what it is. Now, you could do the centers last and the edge wings third. And there are different ways of doing that, different algorithms that will achieve it. One of the reasons that I chose to do the edge wings last, even though it's going to take how many moves? 14 moves to do it rather than 8 moves, is because the setups for this particular sequence are super simple. At most, I've got 4, and that's pretty unusual. So normally there's maybe 2 or 3. So I really like the fact that you don't have to think too much about getting things set up. So let me talk about what's going to be happening here. If I look at, there we go. If I look at the face like this, I'm going to be moving this piece to here, this piece to that position or that position, and whichever one it is, down to this position. So that's the 3 cycle of pieces that I'm doing. Now I say here or here because it doesn't matter, and I can choose either, and there's only one change to the sequence. So there's a few techniques that I will use. The first technique is I'll see if there is a piece here that belongs here, and I'll know it's true because, for example, it would be a red-yellow piece, but it would be yellow-red. It would be misoriented. Because what happens is when this piece moves to here, it flips around. So that's the first thing that I look for, to see if there happen to be in any of these edges already a piece that is misoriented that needs to go to the other part. There normally aren't initially, so I'm not expecting any. So I can't see any here. So the next thing that I would do would be to look for edges that already have one piece done, because I like getting edges done at, complete edges done at once. So this already has the orange grey. I'm going to look to see if I can get another orange grey. There is one there. I don't think that's going to be a super simple one to set up. Okay, so I'm going to ignore that one for now. I'll have a look if there's another one which already had one piece done. I thought there was somewhere. Oh, I thought it was that one, but maybe not. No, okay, that's fine. We'll come back to that. So then I'll just say, all right, I'll find any old piece that needs to go into one of these positions. So I'll look for white-orange. There's a white-orange here which isn't helpful, but there is one here which is really helpful. So I said there were not many setup moves. Here's the one setup move. I just want to turn that edge so that I've got the white-orange sitting ready to go into that position. Now, it could have been here or here, doesn't matter. Now, the interesting thing is to check by turning it around, is that going to place correctly? And in this case, it is going to place correctly. So I might as well just do that to show you the sequence. So what I'm going to do for the sequence, and here we go, is a right, left, right, left. And I'm doing right first because the piece is over here. Then, instead of just doing a front turn, I'm going to do a back, front, back. And now I'm going to undo. So the undoing of a right, left is a left, right, and the undoing of a back, front, back is a back, front, back. What you'll notice is that that white-orange piece has moved from here to here. Whatever was here has gone there, and whatever was here has gone there. Cool. So that's done. Now you can happily just go about and just place pieces as you like that. Let me find one where it's on the left, and I'll see if I can just find a simple one to get set up for that. Just takes a little bit of time sometimes to find the pieces that you're after. Sometimes you can't find them at all because they're right in front of you. Where's the other green red? Where's any green red? I really can't see any green reds, and I don't know why. Are there no green reds? Oh, I see what's happened. My corners are out, that's why. I forgot to undo that setup. That would explain why there's no green reds. Okay, so let me look instead for it. You're probably all sitting there going, what a moron. Okay, yellow, red. Let's see if I can find a yellow, red to be set up here. No, not that one, and actually not that one as well. Let's ignore that. Yellow, grey. And it might seem like, oh, I'm just not going to find anything. Well, trust me, I am. Absolutely. They always show up. Well, here's a good example. I've got a yellow, grey here and here. And this is probably the longest of the setup moves that I'll do. So I know that if a piece is here, I can turn, if you look at that green orange, I can turn it there and it'll be on the correct thing, on the correct edge. Or if it was this one here, I'd turn it and it would be on the correct edge on the left. So So let's have a look at this yellow grey piece. The first setup is to turn it around into that position. You'll notice it's knocked out the piece that was there. So I just need to remember to put that back. So now I'm going to turn it to the correct edge, put back the position that I want, and the yellow grey or the yellow silver is here, so I'll turn that to the position on the back left there. So that's 4 moves. This is now going to go into this here, and we'll carry out the cycle. Now, because it's on the left, and this is what I wanted to show, instead of doing right, left first, we do left, right. So left, right, it's been placed. Now we do a back, front, back. So the back, front, back is the same no matter what. And then undo. Okay, this time I absolutely will undo my setup moves because otherwise it will be a mess. That was the first one. Now it was this, this, and this. Okay, so that yellow silver is in. Now, I might now look at this one here, which is going to be the same sort of thing. I could try and do the same thing, turn it to here, get it to here, and then I'd have to somehow place it here. I could also see if I move it around and take that somewhere else, does that change anything? I don't think that will. So I'll just again leave that for now. Now what I want to show you, so I've showed you a couple of different techniques that I would have. I want to now really try and do one where I place one of them wrongly and then place the second one correctly to get both of them done. If that makes no sense, stick around. Let's have a look. Okay, I reckon this white gold might be the go here. I can certainly get that one in. Let's have a look where the other one is. Oh, it's at the back. It's a really annoying place to be. Maybe not for that one. How about the white blue? That's in a good position. That's not great. But I can make that work. I might even just try to do that and make that work. All right, so the first thing is that I'm going to place a white blue into one of these positions. So it's here. I'm going to turn it round and into its position. Now, I'm just going to check whether it's going to correctly place. It is, and because of that, I'm going to turn the front edge so that it does not place correctly. Might seem a bit strange, but you'll see why at the end. So now I'm going to cycle that white blue into the incorrect position here. Right, that's all done. You can see that it's placed but not oriented. Let's undo the setups. That was one of them. That was the other. That was the other. Okay, so what I'll do now is turn this around because I want to get this other white blue up to here or here somehow. So I'll just see what works initially. Is that going to take that one? Potentially, maybe that's useful. What about, oh, look at that. Okay, so what I need to do here is firstly turn that white blue to that position. And that's very easy to see the setup that I have to undo there. Now I can turn the white blue piece up like this. Now if I look at where it's landed exactly where I want it to be. The reason I know that is because if this is in the wrong position, this one must go there. And I can see that by turning it around and checking. So what's going to happen now is this white blue will cycle here. This white blue will cycle to its correct position and the green yellow will come back to here. So this is what I was saying about getting the two same colours done at once. So I'm now going to take care of that with the sequence. all done, and you can see both of those are in, and that's what I was talking about. I really like getting both parts of an edge done at once. Now, just want to undo the setups. That's got to come back to there. Corners look good. This one's got to come back to here. Everything looks as it should. So that's a general idea of what I'm doing. And I might, the last thing I'll do before I cut back in near the end is just say, what do you do if you've got one done and you want to get the other one in without disturbing this one? So I'll just see if I can, if that orange grey is somewhere handy. This might, yeah, this might work actually. Because I can move, is that in the correct position? Not there. Maybe it's not, maybe it needs to be, maybe it was there, that was the right sort of thing. Okay, I'll abandon the orange grey for now. I'll have a look at the yellow silver. I keep calling it grey. I like silver better. Yellow silver also is not ideally placed. Is there any more? Are there any more? White, orange? Again, not ideal. What happens to this one? Oh, that'll work. Okay. All right, so the first setup I'm going to do, I'm going to place the other white orange here. I'm going to turn that around and I'm going to bring that, assuming I know what I'm doing here. Yep, going to bring that to there. So this is the first setup that I want to remember. Now, I want to place the white orange in that position. I know that it's got to be that position because this one's correct. So that's fine. But at the moment, it's going to knock out the white orange that I've already got there. So all I need to do now is turn another piece into position. And I'll just check that gold green is not yet done. So I can happily turn that around to be a placeholder there while I place the white orange. Everything's set up. Now I can do the sequence. That's all done. I undo the setups. That was the first one. You can see they're both now correct. This was the next one, and this was the last one. So that's the sort of techniques for setting up that I use. Pretty straightforward sequence, I'm sure you'll agree. I'm going to continue doing the rest of them, and I'll cut back in when I'm down to the last three. Well, here I am with the last three pieces, and normally they're not as tricky as this. This is what I'd call a super tricky one to get my head around as to what to do. The only good thing about it is that one of the pieces is in position ready to go, but as you'll see, it's kind of not great because I have to move it out initially. So I've got the yellow silver that needs to turn around to there. The yellow red piece needs to go here, and what that means is that this orange white, I need to get it to here before I start the sequence. So normally what I find with the last three is that two of them will be on here, which means one of them just flips around. So it's quite a bit easier than this. So I've got to think to myself, how do I get that piece to that position? I can't just turn it across an edge here. So I've got to go, where does that position come from? Well, what's the first thing I can do? I can turn it down to this edge here. So then I've got to say, can I get this piece to this edge? That doesn't work. However, I noticed that the yellow red sitting there, if I turn that, it does go onto that edge. So now I've got the technique. Well, it's fairly clear what I have to do. I've got to have this piece here first of all. So I'll put that piece there. I'll turn it down to the bottom, turn it along that edge, and turn it up. Okay, it's fairly messed up, but I've got the piece in position, and now I can see that the piece that I needed to go here, which I think was a silver yellow, has vanished. And so that means I've got to do something with it to begin with so that it doesn't get knocked out. So I'm going to have to undo these setups initially, probably not that one. yeah, what was it? That yellow silver there. So what I'm going to do to try and get around this is just to put it there to begin with. And those two turns, I don't need to remember them because they're not intersecting, so they're very easy to see what's happening. So I'm now going to try again to get the white orange to here and hope that that yellow silver is there, because then I can just put it back at the end. So if I was trying to remember the turns, I guess that would be a down. It's now here. This is a down, down, left or something, because that's really a down, left. I don't know. I'm just going to not even bother remembering that. It's there now. And I now turn that one to put it into position. Okay, that's fine. That yellow silver is there, so now I've got to turn this left face. Now you can see that the pieces are set up. You can see that that white orange is going to go there. So that's good. Clearly, if I lose my place here, I'm absolutely stuffed. So I've got to remember to undo those setups in the correct order. But for now, I'm ready to carry out the sequence. So that's what I'll do. All right, that's all done. You can see that looks good. This other one looks good, so I'm going to assume that's all happened. Now I've got to undo the turns. I know that was the first one. Then this is the piece that I've got to move out. So that, I think, came from there. And I turn it around to there, and if I bring that back up, I should find there's only those two edges to turn. Whew, I'm glad that worked. You can see that, firstly, that was much more complicated than any of the other setups. So that has rarely happened for me. In fact, that's the worst I've ever had for this. But you can also see that it works fine, and you will end up solving this edge turning octahedron. Now this, of course, was a non-jumbling solve. So I'm really looking forward to getting my head around the jumbling solve. I suspect that will contain a few more mysteries and a few more head scratches for me. But as it is, this at least is how to solve a reasonably complicated puzzle, even without the jumbling. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.